Hi everybody, hope all is well. So yesterday we were talking about just kind of some types of tips to just get us out of ourselves. Like when we're feeling overtaken by an emotion, anxiety, sadness, what we can do to really be like a lightning, like the word chashmal, to be able to be in a quiet space so that then we could speak the way we really want to, and rather than like give in to the emotion. And we were learning how like in just a matter of 90 seconds to 2 minutes, we have the power, the most maximum potential to get ourselves out of that mucky negative energy. And trust me, today, now more than ever, we really need to know how to do this, because what's been going on. I'm praying for all of you, for safety, for health, and for everyone, to just be in that, golden space, even though it seems like there's no light around us. And we always have to remember that no matter what's going on, like we've been through it, it will pass. It's for a reason that we can't understand right now. And especially children, while they're going through this, and it might be kind of maybe the first time they're going through something like this. But trust me, from the adult that's been on this planet, yes, 54 years this year, whether it was when I lived in LA and it was earthquakes like crazy, or whether I was living in Israel and it was every Monday, and I don't want to say more negativity, and everything kind of seems to come and go, like a cycle of a sort. And I'm really praying that this time, this is it already. That's it. We went through whatever cycle. Hopefully got lessons in life and tried our best to manage, and hopefully we either passed the test or learned big lessons from the test, whatever. Lots of good hopefully will come from all this, and we're just soon going to be seeing it, please God. So talk about getting out of ourselves, because it is ourselves that get in the way. It's our limited mindsets, it's our limited way of thinking that gets in the way. And actually the whole purpose of our being on this earth, like the reason for our existence, is kind of like to escape ourselves so that we can be our true selves. To escape the mundane, egotistical, self-centered person that we are born, you see little children and how it's all about I want this and I want that, and then they grow older. And I don't know, you children who are watching this, how old you are now, but you could see younger people than you, and you could see how you're not as self-focused as they are. But you could also see maybe your older siblings who are maybe even married, are more, developed mentally and emotionally, because their brain is bigger and they've had experience of how to do that. So hopefully now, you getting it at a younger age, you'll be able to get there faster than even they did, So the whole thing is to get away from yourself so that you can be your true self. That doesn't make sense. Well, let me explain. Our Torah teaches us that there's the animalistic, base, negative tendencies that we are born with, and we're taught how to channel them, right, for the good, so that our godly self will access these powers, and that self will be the king over the city, your body, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, and every part of you. So I want to read something to you. And it comes from Rabbi Ginsburg. The splendor of Torah is wisdom. The splendor of wisdom is humility. The splendor of humility is ah. The splendor of ah is a mitzvah. And the splendor of a mitzvah, it's modesty. So today we're going to learn the difference between that level of getting to humility and that level of getting to even a higher level of modesty. Because if you look at all this, it's like everything that the Torah is about is to get to the final destination of being even more than humble, modest. Okay, we learn what modesty is about, right? Modesty is about also the way we dress. Modesty is about how we speak. Modesty is so many different things. But today we're going to focus on modesty of our better self. Getting to that better self. And this is how. I'm going to give you an example. There's a moon, okay? And the moon gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then all of a sudden, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until finally it's at its maximum light. So the Torah teaches us, like it was in one of the haftorahs of Rosh Chodesh, we need to be more like the moon. The more we get rid of and get smaller and smaller our anger, smaller and smaller, make it less and less our anxiety, and less these negative emotions, then the true self, the godly self, becomes more and more bright and has room to exist. You know, like if you have a cup full of gooky, old, I don't even want to give the image, but it's just like, it's like green on top, okay? And like, ugh. So you have to get rid of that. And now there's going to be room for, let's say, the fine wine, as they say, or whatever drink that you like as a child. So the idea is we're working at learning Torah, praying, meditating, again, learning Torah, right? And we keep pouring in. Let's say if you have a cup and it's full of the icky stuff, you keep pouring in and pouring in and pouring in, then the gooky stuff comes out, and eventually the cup is full of the good stuff, right? So let's just think about the difference between humility and modesty. Because we're all learning about, right? We just went through Shavuos and we learned about Moshe, the humblest of person, and because of how humble he was, right? He got the Torah. He was the one. Because that's like an amazing character trait. So there's still a little bit of an I involved. Even as great as humility is, there's even a greater level called modesty. And if you look at the story of Moshe Rabbeinu, and like after he got the Torah, he covered himself. He was so bright. He was shining such a light to teach us a lesson that after he got the Torah, that he reached even a greater level of humility called modesty. So I'm going to read to you here. It's so fascinating. And it says here that humility is like when a person is still like trying to get away from themselves. Like there's still this I in their being. Like I want to be a better person, and I don't want to be angry, and it's like there's still this I. Like as much as, when we're young children, right? And I hear it from a lot of children. I'm so embarrassed when I acted that way, or I can't stand when I behaved that way, and I wish I was a better person, and because we're human and it feels icky. It doesn't feel right when we did something and everyone's looking at us and it's so embarrassing, or like we really wanted to be so much more in control and we lose it. as children especially. So it's a process. It's a process. We have to understand that, yes, personally, we don't want to behave a certain way. But then there's something even greater than I want to be better because I'm embarrassed and because I want to look like I'm not normal. Then there's a level that goes beyond that. That's the level where it's not about you. It's like you don't think about yourself so much. I remember there was a letter that someone wrote to the Rebbe, and he was very, very depressed. He's not changing, he's not this, he's not that. And the Rebbe wrote back, and he marked I, like this, we have a paper, and everywhere there was an I, he circled it. He said, if you stop thinking about yourself, meaning I, and you focus more on doing for others, and then you'll be happier. Too much focus and I want to be better and I can't stand myself and I'm not good enough and I compare to him and I compare to she and all these different things just actually makes you sad. Even in your wanting for a good reason, for holy reasons, to be the Bas HaMelech or Ben HaMelech, the daughter of the king or the son of the king. So our goal is to try to do whatever we're doing to make ourselves better without so much focusing on the I. And if you catch yourself thinking, I hate myself, I can't stand the way I am, and I don't want to go there, it's such, and I know it's so hard for so many children. And that's why I'm doing this, actually. I recently got I was looking at some website that I don't normally look at. It just happened to be someone showed me something. I had to go there to see it because we were working on a project, so I did it. And all of a sudden I see a video of the Rebbe. And the Rebbe was saying, this rabbi was reading this letter of the Rebbe and saying that, we have to be involved in helping the masses. There's one-on-one help, which is important, but then there's the help that is, in numbers. So when we do a class like this, I don't know, one time 800 people were watching. I saw it was so exciting. And then that can lead to how many more people the next day and how many more people the next day. Or even if nobody sees it on the video, but then they have the idea in their mind and in their heart and they share it with someone, and they share it with, it's like endless how many more people can experience that information because of your sharing it. So then it actually got me going to, be more active in not just the one-on-one work that I do with people, but with, doing this on a more regular basis because of this pandemic and because the children are home. So back to this image of the moon, because we're trying to be like the moon. We're trying to less and less think about ourselves, less and less think about what we're not good at, less and less think about all our inadequacies, less and less think about how we're not perfect, and less be desperate because we want to change so badly in an instant. The less and less we think about ourselves and say, what can I do for the other? Meaning, cover yourself. Yes, you will get to be stronger-minded when your brain gets stronger. Yes, you will be less emotional, please God, if you keep following the directives of the Torah. You will be able to less self-absorb. That's maybe a fancy word for, let's say you have, too much thinking of yourself. That's a terminology. You're self-absorbed. Think of somebody else. Help somebody else. Do acts of kindness. Call somebody. Learn with someone. Call your grandma. Get out of your head, basically. There's a time to be in your head, when you're praying, when you're connected to godly concepts, when you're begging Hashem, please, I want to be a better person, help me. There's a time. And there's a time to like get out, just like after Matan Torah, right? They had the experience of Matan Torah. Hashem was like, here, I'm giving you the Torah. Now move, go with it. Go give it to someone else. I love you, my dear child, but don't linger here. It's not going to be healthy for you. You need to like be active, be more God-like, and give the Torah over to someone else in whatever way. So the modesty, as Moshe Rabbeinu was coming down and covering himself, was also the message of Purim, right? The mask. Cover yourself. Don't be so fixated and so nervous about you wanting to be a better person. And because you have such nervousness about being a better person, it just like almost makes it difficult for you because it's so bitter, it's so heavy-hearted the person can be. So the more you diminish the focus on yourself, the more the power of God's light has room to reside in you. Remember, that cup, if it's so full of icky stuff, there's no room for the good stuff. So Hashem's saying, like, you know, yeah, I know you want to be better for me. I know you want to be better. But try to just have a certain time to do that type of self-analysis, if you want to say, analyzing where and what you want to be better at. But then that's it. Done. Move on. I remember the teaching of the Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe is saying that if you look at David HaMelech's Tehillim, wow, 5 sentences of a little sad bitterness, and then that's it, done. And he moves on to joyous praise of Hashem, joyous happiness, and joyous praises. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe says we have to learn from the David HaMelech. A little time. Just a little. And then, like, that's it. Move on. Be hopeful. Be grateful that you're going to help other people. You're going to do whatever you can to bring Mashiach. You're going to do whatever you can to make someone else's life better. And then you become better. But you thinking about how you're not good enough and you're not this enough and you're not that enough all day long, it's just not going to help you get better. And the Rebbe gave actually an example of a medicine. Like for those of you who've ever experienced taking something because you got sick and you need it for a certain period of time, let's say once a day. Well, if you took it all day long, oh my gosh, it'll be destructive. It's dangerous. So if you take the pill of bitterness of how you want to be this and you're not good enough there and he's better than me and she's better than me and my teacher doesn't even like me, they don't pay attention and he doesn't care about me and I guess nobody, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not valued enough. If you think that way all day long, it's literally not healthy. Just like taking a medicine all day long. My dear children, I hope you're hearing this. And us adults as well. My goodness, how much I hear this complaint about each and every individual. My heart goes out. My heart breaks. Because you know why? I'll tell you why. Because when I was a child, that's what I went through. And that's what all adults will tell you. They went through the same thing. Okay, some a little bit more than others. It's called the Yetzer Hara. And our children, my dear children, you need to be guided in this way now. And not like me when I was like, I don't know, 38. When it finally came my way. So, yes, there's a place to be humble, and to have humility and to feel like, yeah, I can improve. Yeah, I wish I can be better. But then you got to move away. And you have to even reach a higher level of modesty. Transcend yourself. That's maybe a very hard word, but it means like move away from yourself. Like when you transcend, you're moving upward. You're going outwardly up. You're moving away from your mind. Because our mind can limit our understanding about our potential. Our mind can trick us. Our mind can play games with us and make us believe what we're thinking is true. Many times people feel like they're not good enough. And because they feel not good enough, then they think everyone else is looking at them thinking they're not good enough. But they're not even thinking about you. But you think they're thinking about you because you feel maybe not so good about yourself. And it's not easy to feel good about yourself. Sometimes it's a real challenge because you see maybe it's easier for your sister, or you see it's easier for your brother. Somehow, they are not as angry, or they are not as upset, and they seem to get along with everyone, and it's easier for them. And if you happen to be one of those people, and your sister is the one that doesn't get along so well or has it a little harder, or your brother, then you have to really understand that it's harder for them. And instead of rolling your eyes and looking down at them and judging them, realize it's a struggle for them. And then you try to be the example of humbleness. And not think you're so great because it's so easy for you, and sometimes one child goes through a certain type of trauma, like they were very shamed in school, and a lot of children don't share what they go through sometimes. And maybe you didn't go through that shaming experience, or maybe one of your brothers or sisters were bullied, and that's it. Now they feel like the whole world is against them and they're carrying the pain. And you weren't maybe bullied. Maybe for whatever reason. So, either way, we got to work with unity together. You know what I mean? We got to help each other. We got to, through modesty, get to a place of even greater humility. And we don't have to wait till we're 40 and 50 years old. It can start now. It really can start now. I mean, we can hear what's all going on out in the outside world. And I actually mentioned this in my podcast with my daughter. We have a mother and daughter podcast. It was the 3rd episode. And so maybe some people didn't hear it. And this is going to be on YouTube. And these podcasts are not, as of now, going to be on YouTube until further notice. But you can get it on Spotify and Anchor, for whoever was interested. So the message, some of the things, we were talking about many different things, but one of the things was the current events of how there's so much pent up feeling sometimes that people want to go and protest because they feel like they're not being treated equally. They feel like, they're disregarded. And, people can judge them. Now, of course, you never protest. Sometimes people take, things to the extreme and let out their anger in a way that is destructive, and that's clearly counterproductive of, if you want to say that you're someone special, then please. But the feeling that they have of the pain and the suffering that they've been going through kind of reminded me of the Korach. The Rebbe's teaching on Korach is so holy. And Korach wanted to be like his desire came from such a desire to be at the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. So someone could see it on the outside, wow, he's protesting. But on the inside, the Rebbe was teaching, he was going through like this spiritual yearning and longing to reach that level like Moshe Rabbeinu. Or another story the Rebbe brings out, and that was with, there was a story of this woman. Actually, I think her name was Miriam. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure, but I don't know why that just came to me. That she actually gave the key, because she was a daughter of a priest. She gave the key to the enemy to walk into the Beit HaMikdash, to destroy the Beit HaMikdash. And she went in, kind of, and everyone's looking at her like, what chutzpah? Give them the key, all right? But go in with them? Like, how low can you go? And she kicks the Mizbeach and says, wolf, wolf. You can only imagine the daughter of a Kohen. But it takes the Lubavitcher Rebbe to explain what was going on. Everyone who looked at her kicking the Mizbeach thought it was like, ha ha ha, I'll show you, I'll kick you. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe explained that she was really upset. She felt so hurt for her people. She was like, wolf, wolf, how many sacrifices will you take? Look what happened to the people. She was like crying for the people, that look how low even she went. Because of all of the misery of what was going on in those times. So sometimes it looks like a child is so angry, manipulative, trying to coerce everyone, trying to like boss everyone around and be like a brat, or like to take control, and it looks like they're kicking and they're mean. They're protesting. But it comes from the pain that they're feeling. And it looks like on the outside that it's just the way it seems. And sometimes, like, parents are struggling with what they're struggling with. So maybe between sisters and brothers, like get together, help each other out, bring less stress in the home. Be partners to like help cope better with the situation. Parents may be nervous, where's the, because the pandemic, or this or that, because of Parnassah, there's only so many, sometimes an aging mother, sometimes meaning that like grandparents are, need a lot of care. There's just sometimes so much. We have to see the behaviors of others with humbleness and with modesty. I'm still in LA. Yeah, and it's been tough. I'm hearing what's going on. It's not easy. But even when we see that dark behavior of someone else, we also can use our modesty. Cover ourselves. The Rebbe used to say he wore his hat like with the brim kind of at an angle to help him just look at himself. We had another class about that, so I'm not going to go more into that. That's look into your own tent on the YouTube channel. I also have it on my adult channel because it's really a strong message. So the more humble you are, the more you realize that, like, one, you don't self-absorb, you don't think so much about yourself, so you can get to that level of modesty. And then the more you have that modesty, then you're like, who am I to like really understand what they're going through and why they're behaving that way. And so that you have more unity when you have modesty. You're able to kind of tolerate, accept that it's not easy maybe for someone else, or maybe it's you, right? Whatever it is, it just helps us get along better. It helps us be each other's ally, be each other's friends, to support one another in the time of crisis, especially. So we have to let go of our ego. We have to try to nullify and get rid of our thinking of ourselves so much. And the more we connect to Hashem, the more we'll get there. Because, let me tell you, because the main place to start is through prayer and then learning after you pray. Okay? I learned it the hard way. Let me tell you, because before Chabad, basically, I'm a woman. I don't need to pray. I'm not commanded to. I don't need to learn. I'm a mother. I waited 8 years, finally, the birth of my child, and I want to give 24/7 to my child. Hashem, thank you for the gift. Bye. I mean, I'm thinking of you all day long. I'm thankful to you all long, but like now I'm a mother. And boy, was that the opposite of the truth of what was going to make me keep healthy and sane and functioning and happy. And I came across the teaching that the only way that the animal soul can get smaller and smaller, meaning the negative aspects of the animal soul, the hatred, the anger, the depression, the sadness, the anxiety, whatever it is that a person has a dominant element, or maybe all four, as we learned in the other classes, again, up on YouTube. If you're behind, go check it out. So that's the key. But not just blah, 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 blah. Like really with sincerity, with a feeling of I want to connect to Hashem. I want to bond with Hashem. I want to draw this light to banish my dark side. Please, Hashem, I need you. With that kind of sincerity, with that kind of humbleness. I can't do it on my own. I can't. I know that it's you and you only that's going to help me be the better me. I know it's you and only you that's going to help me stop thinking about me and get over me. I know it's only you that's going to help me be a partner with you in bringing more goodness and kindness to the world and sharing your light through me. And then, and we're going to go more in detail, but I'm just doing it in short now because that's going to be the upcoming classes. Prayer in a deep way, like you want to call it meditative. You want to call it contemplative. You want to call it concentrating. Whatever it is that you want the word to be used, because some people don't like the word meditation. It's fine. But basically, it's concentration. It's deep thinking. It's like putting your mind to it. I mean, you could close your eyes and like drift into visions of like lots of great imagery that we will go into soon when you pray. And you could do that. And then you need to learn Torah right after. Why? Because all of these holy emotions are aroused. And in order for those holy emotions to be cooled down and balanced, and it's kind of like you made a hot tea. I don't know, it just came to my mind. And it's too hot, you can't do. So you need to cool it down. Like you put a little cold water or maybe an ice cube, and now you can drink the tea. So the prayers arouses and like You're just like this fiery, bubbly, holy energies. And then learning Torah cools it down so it can like stay within you. Because otherwise it's like it's just like flying. And the cold intellect being used will solidify and bring, you know, it to its place of being useful and being, you know, usable. Or remember, I think I gave an example of like, let's say butterflies are all over the place, so that you need to like put a net. And if you want to have a, you know, a farm of butterflies, I've been to those farms. It's so cool. You walk in and there's this tall net, but all the butterflies are flying around you. So I don't know, that image came to my mind when I was thinking about cooling, like keeping like the energies that you got from tefillah, from praying, to not like fly away, to like really be yours. And so that you don't lose it. Okay, so we'll go more into detail in the next class, but I will stop here, and we're gonna have any questions, and we'll read here before we do our art brain training here. Oh, thank you. I actually noticed that why not let people enjoy the view here? Before it was always like closed. You learn something every day. Thank you. So let's see what else is here. Yeah, we can't control any other person's actions or behaviors. You know, it's our attitude about it that can make an influence and affect them in a good way. But definitely when we're like so judgmental, looking down at them, or angry or frustrated, and they're seeing us, then it's only like a stumbling block before them, and then they can get triggered even to more sadness or more anger. Yes, definitely reading Tehillim is amazing power. And it's a good point here, and I do want to mention, learning Torah after prayer is a secret ingredient. Tehillim without like the formal prayers is a different positive energy, but it's like the formal morning prayers are the secret ingredients to rectify your animal soul and to arouse all these positive holy emotions. The learning Torah after, and of course Tehillim after as well, is amazing. That's even a cherry on top. And there's so many miracles that I remember one of the Hayom Yoms where the Rebbe brings it out that if we knew how powerful Tehillim is, we'd be doing it all day long. So definitely Tehillim is a powerhouse in its own right. All right, so images for your artwork. Again, you could just sit there and think of what we learned here today inspired you, and like just let it flow, and whatever comes out. It could be even things not even with dimensions, because it could be just an emotion you felt. I see Moshe Rabbeinu with the cover on his, and the lights and the beams, and that he reached a new level of humility called modesty. And again, the modesty, the covering up of the self, meaning now's the time not to be so self-absorbed. Now's the time to take action. Don't be a spectator. Do something to change the world for the better. I know you're a young child, but there's many different ways. Even just in your own home. As we always say, we be the lamp lighters in our own home. Work on not thinking it's not fair. How come he? How come she? Work on getting out of your head a bit. Getting out of your thoughts about yourself. Out of how you want to be this and you want to be that. There is a time, remember? So in this picture, you could put like humility on one side, and with a clock, only a certain amount of time to think about yourself and how you want to improve. And then in the middle of the page, you see Moshe Rabbeinu covering himself, and you say modesty. And the time is up. No more thinking about yourself. Enough! Leave me alone, Yetzirah. Don't like make you're trying to be this righteous thing. Oh, you have to be better. Oh, you have to be smarter. Oh, you have to stop, Yetzirah. You're not gonna trick me anymore. Bye bye. Time is up. Over. Later. We'll do lunch one day. You know, sometimes people meet you up and they say, "Oh, let's do lunch." You know, it's like it's a joke here in LA. Okay, do you want? It's as if like, yeah, right. It's just like a way to like trick. It's not a good thing. I don't know. It just came to my mind. It's like they didn't really intend to want to go out to lunch with you, but they want to make you feel like whatever, and they say, yeah, let's do lunch, and they don't even call you and ask you. But okay, so no, but I do want to do lunch with you when I say it. Sometimes life is too busy. But all right, so that's one picture I'm seeing. Or you could just do a picture of the watch. 10, 9, 8, 7, and like, over, game over. And then see on the other side, there's no more watch. And you're just like making a picture of you helping your mom, helping your family, helping your sister with their homework, whatever. And do some kind of, now it's about doing for others. You spent your time praying, the amount of time, you spend them begging Hashem, focusing on, yes, I want to be better, and that's it. Okay? I don't know, another idea? Like the moon. Isn't that neat? Oh, I love like light, right? You see like this, you can do it in stages, like smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and like on one half of the top of the page maybe, or on the side, and then the other, it's like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So one side of the page is humility, working on yourself, no more anger, no more sadness, no more this, no more that, like more and more away from those kinds of things. And then on the other side, it's modesty, because now the power of your light just grew. The power of your kindness, the power of your compassion, your caring, all these positive, the real you, your real light now has room to like explode outwardly. It's really, you're channeling God's holy powers through you. And He gave you your unique light, like no other light. So that's another picture. I think you can do all three. Do your own. And then we're going to go to, maybe after this class, you'll finish the picture. And maybe one day you're going to put all these pictures together and these concepts, and you're going to make your own book. And with your pictures. And you could, ask your mom and put it all together, and then, make it, who knows, it'll be in your school library. Nowadays, it's so easy to make your own book. Or maybe, you use some of the ideas that really motivated you and do something with this, what you're learning here. You never know. Okay, so now we're going to do the third part of this class, and that is the brain training. Not through art, but through a mind movie. And here we're going to do, we're going to do, I don't know, I think the moon. I like that idea. Because, we see the moon, we bless the moon every month, we have Rosh Chodesh every month. So every time you bless the moon, you'll brain train and pair this idea, this image of the moon with getting modest, with stop thinking about yourself, stop the self-absorption, get out of your head. There's a time, but then you'll blossom. Then the true you will come out as you think less about yourself. And by the way, thinking less about yourself is also thinking less about, because really what makes a person angry is because I don't think I should go through this. How dare you? I shouldn't. I. where does sadness come from? I wish it went this way. I can't believe it went that way. I. But when it's Hashem, 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 that's a level of humility. That's a level of total modesty. Because Hashem is always in your head, not what you think you should have had, and not what you think is fair, and not what you. And that's really the key. The more you fill your mind that Hashem knows what He's doing, that Hashem creates everything for a reason, and it takes time to cultivate this. It takes time to develop this and get it ingrained in your brain. But today, with our Brain Train class, we're going to get it in there. So let's get comfortable. Let's get calm. More than ever, we need this. And let's take some deep breaths. And with every breath we take, we feel a wave of relaxation. And the more you relax your body, kind of almost sense some kind of very fun, colorful, like image of some relaxing agent just coming over you, just like from your feet all the way up to your ankles, going up to your knees, and it's just like almost like surrounding you like in a cocoon, just round and round, going up to your all the way your back and all the way through your shoulders, whatever color you like. And then it's like even going around your head, and you're fully like now in this space of calmness. Like it's as if you're protected from all what's around you. Nothing can now bother you in this sacred space of peace. And it's just like almost drifting you away to a most beautiful place. A beautiful place that just helps you get even more relaxed and more calm. Helping you really access right now your deepest, strongest potential of your mind. And in this space, you're seeing all the beautiful colors. The blue of the sky, the greenery, the blossoms, or the water view, whatever like you go there. And in this place, it's so quiet, just for you. Nobody can bother you there. Time to be by yourself. And you see an image in this place of the moon. It's during the daytime. You know how sometimes you could see the moon in the daytime as it's about to get dark? And it's so big. And it's as if you're seeing the whole month cycle. And you're seeing it get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's barely a sliver. And as each step you see it getting smaller and smaller, it's like represents less anger, less sadness, less anxiety, whatever it is that you have a challenge with, less and less. Less less I'm getting angry, I'm getting sad, less. And then you feel like, wow, kind of like empty in a good way. Kind of like so much space for more good things. So free to now absorb more and more good things. So you see an image of now the moon getting a little bigger, and a little bigger. Now, you're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about other people. You're thinking what you can do to help. And your light is beginning to shine. It's getting bigger and bigger and brighter and stronger. And like you really look at yourself doing these things as you're seeing the moon get stronger and bigger. You begin to see an image of yourself happier, calmer, more loving, more compassionate, more of a leader. And you really feel good about yourself. That Hashem's qualities are streaming in through you. And that you're like a amazing light. And see the image. Maybe with your family, with your parents, with your sisters. See yourself at home. Being like the full moon. Being the best self. And then, just feel your body. Like how good it feels to walk over to someone in your family and help them. Feel your hands, that you were able to like help them with your hands. And then see their smile as you're smiling. Almost as you can pierce through into their mind and heart of how good you made them feel. That you didn't look down at them, but you helped them when they were down. Oh my gosh, it just is such a thrilling feeling. Such a godly energy of having impacted someone in a better way because of your modesty. And when you're ready, you take a time to pray to Hashem. Let this image of the moon never leave me. Let this idea constantly remind me to help me stop thinking about myself. Let me just continuously remember that there's a place of even greater humility called modesty. When you're not thinking about yourself at all, you're thinking about others and what you can do to make a difference. And you know Hashem is listening, and you know Hashem is going to help you. Yes, it's a journey. But every day's brain training, every day's davening, every day's praying and learning will help you get there. Thank you, my dear children, for taking this time. You're getting there. I'm so happy you're getting it at this stage, and I'm praying for all of us, like that all of our children should get it at this age. Bezrat Hashem, now's the time. We're really we're getting there. Thanks to our Rebbes, thank you to Hashem who gave us the privilege of knowing the Torah. Bezrat Hashem. Let's do it. Be like the moon. Any questions? All right, Bezrat Hashem, we should hopefully meet up tomorrow and maybe in the Har HaBayis in Yerushalayim with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Not maybe. We're done. We're there. But thanks to Facebook, we all can get together until that day. Bye-bye.